Hey, what's up? It's CryptoCoach365, day 110. Mike Tozoni here. It's past midnight, but gotta do what it takes, whatever it takes. So I'm recording one of these because, I gotta keep the good habits going. So this morning we actually started another good habit back up, which unfortunately we kind of stopped because we ended up moving far away. Didn't have time to sign up and didn't have time to travel. Excuses. Yeah. So we got a gym membership. So we were going to the gym once again because one really important part of being in business and being successful is you have to be in good health and good shape. If you feel like crap, if you feel like getting out, like not getting up in the morning because you're feeling like crap, or if you're just sick in general, it's not a good thing for business because you have to be available and working hard 24/7. Well, not 24/7, you gotta sleep, but yeah, you gotta be available all the time. So days when you feel like crap end up being extremely unproductive, and being healthy keeps you going and keeps you happy and motivated. Also, when you work out, it kind of creates it creates a lot of endorphins, which make you happy and then keep you going throughout the day too. So gonna start doing that again every 2 to 3 times a week. I don't do this every week because we just don't have time, unfortunately. So did that. Right after that, we went to our property and to my house and had our new employee show up. So unfortunately, we're still moving in, so we didn't really have a home office of sorts. My room is just full of boxes, and right now my actual table and computers are still at the old house. So we used the laptop and just bunched around our... it's late, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble thinking straight. Bunched around our dinner table to kind of go over what needs to be done, how to pay bills, how to use our accounting software, how to search for properties, how to evaluate them. Most of it was how to evaluate properties because it's unfortunately kind of a long process. But this being a long process and fairly repetitive process is exactly why we hired our employee to start taking care of that for us. So yeah, that was good. Excuse me. A bit more progress on the bank. There's, can't really talk about it actually, but just more things with applications and hires and stuff like that. So that's moving along. There is apparently a pretty big storm moving into the area, a hurricane that's supposed to slam just a bit south of us. So that's going to pretty much mess up the rest of the week for travel. For anybody who would want to travel. Luckily, my travel doesn't actually start until mid of next week. Hopefully, it'll be okay. And hopefully the storm is not going to devastate the Caribbean too much because I'm going to need to travel there in a couple of weeks. But we'll see what happens. So it should be okay by beginning of October. But yeah, tons of stuff done. Basically got up in the morning. It was work, gym, train, work, train, dinner, and then work some more. A lot of work. It's a little weird. It's like people are stuck in jobs and they hate their situation and they wish they could do something about it and they don't really do much. And then there's people like me who get stuck in a job and then we do something about the situation and then we get out of that situation and we end up working a lot more. But I gotta admit, a lot of the stuff that I'm actually doing is working. Some of it is tedious and annoying. But a lot of it is stuff that I actually know has a purpose. It's not like repetitive crap where it's just keep doing it at work because they tell you to. And it is enjoyable and kind of gives you a feeling of accomplishment because of that. So like I get tasks off my to-do list. I know exactly what they're supposed to do. And I feel good because things are getting done and things are moving forward. I mean, unfortunately, right now I have so many things to do that it's... I'm actually concerned I might not be able to have enough time to finish them up into this week before I head out. So it does kind of feel overwhelming a bit, but I gotta keep pushing through it because things need to be done and you gotta figure out how to get motivation on your own any way you can. The gym actually does help I actually felt like it helped a lot, because like when I got home I was really pumped up and full of energy, and really wanted to get things done. So we'll keep doing that. Plus, just need to do that because it's healthy. And yeah, so not really much besides that. Oh, in cryptocurrencies, so there's was a debate between Jimmy Song. He is one of the core Bitcoin Core developers, and Roger Ver, who's a friend of mine, who's a promoter, used to be a promoter of Bitcoin, who is now a major promoter of Bitcoin Cash, and he gets a lot of flack from a lot of people for promoting Bitcoin Cash, but he's promoting it because he wants the cash portion of Bitcoin. In other words, being able to have a cryptocurrency that you can spend like regular money, whereas Bitcoin right now is kind of more focused on store of value as opposed to money, with Lightning possibly eventually maybe becoming the cash portion of it. So interestingly enough, Jimmy is I've met Jimmy before, I've talked to him, he's a really nice guy, he really knows a lot about development. But with this debate that happened on stage, he was mostly reading his notes, which was a little strange because, it wasn't that he was just reading his notes, he was reading an article that he wrote earlier. Usually when you're on stage and you talk about stuff, you want to prepare before you go up there, and at the very least you should know your key points that you want to defend. Like, I can go on stage and I can talk about the key points, I can talk about Bitcoin, I can talk about any kind of key concepts of whatever topic I want to talk about, because I understand those things, and I understand them well enough to where I can just talk about them anytime. If somebody goes up on stage and has to read them, it kind of tells me one of two things. One of either they are not prepared and they don't actually understand those points well enough, or they are too nervous or concerned and just really did not have enough practice speaking on stage, which I can believe that Jimmy hadn't done, because that's not a thing. He's a developer, he's not a speaker. So yeah, but it's still a little weird that he had to read key points from his own paper as if he didn't know about them, which really makes me think that he probably really was uncomfortable on stage. Or it could also be a third thing, which is just he didn't care. He just went up there like, here's my stuff, and boom, I'm done. So if you want to be more professional on stage, just know your points. The main thing I would suggest doing is practice, because even if you're concerned and nervous and worried about what you're going to say on stage, practice. And actually, with regards to anything at all in the world, if you're worried and concerned and fear doing something, just practice before you actually do it. So then by the time it actually comes time to actually do that, it'll just come to you naturally and you'll just do it. Which is one of the big reasons that I'm doing this 365 video for, is just to practice speaking in front of a camera, so that I can be comfortable when I'm have to actually do that, like in interviews or on stage or anywhere else. Besides that, the actual content of what was being discussed was a little ironic, I guess, because most of Jimmy's points were about how Bitcoin Cash is very centralized and there's a small group that controls access to what gets involved and included in the code, and it's a very kind of a small pseudo dictatorship in Bitcoin Cash. The irony of that is that Bitcoin Cash has 2 or 3 development teams with competing software implementations, and they do talk and argue and compete against each other, whereas Bitcoin Core has only one development team that has a proven, thoroughly shown, demonstrated record of kicking and pushing anybody out who they disagree with. So it's even though Core does claim that anybody can develop for Core, if it's anything that is that they would disagree with, it just gets kicked out. And if you don't toe the major core party line points, not only would they not accept your code, they've been known to ridicule and kick you out completely out of the entire environment. And that's why people have been going to Bitcoin Cash. So I'm still I'm still of the opinion that Bitcoin has an extremely strong network effect, first mover advantage, and marketing even the advantage over Bitcoin Cash. So the original Bitcoin has a much stronger advantage. So I'm still thinking that Bitcoin will probably win in the long run. But more and more of this kind of stuff where there's more concentration of developer and more of it being closed off, with people finding out that you either have to go with them or else, and or else means a much more open and spread out development. Maybe there's a chance Bitcoin Cash will be able to succeed anyway. So, but we'll see. In my project, I'll probably end up implementing both, just because I don't want to be biased toward any one of them. And I mean, I do still support both ideas. There's on-chain scaling, as Bitcoin Cash is doing, which has benefits and issues. And there's off-chain scaling, like Lightning Network on Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin Core. And if I'm saying Bitcoin Core, it's not because I'm being derisive to it. It's just to differentiate it from Bitcoin Cash. So, and there's Lightning Network, which again, it has a lot of benefits, but also some problems. So unfortunately, I don't really know which one will win. So in my project, I'd rather stay unbiased and allow both to work, so both have a fair chance of competition. But anyway, tomorrow I'll be doing some more work early in the morning, and then going to do some Bitcoin coaching, training, whatever I want to call it, to one of our newest employees for the bank management position, because she knows how to build a bank from the ground up, but she is not very familiar with the way Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies work and economics and all that kind of stuff. So I'll be spending a day up there doing that, and then doing maybe a little bit of move, grab some more stuff while I'm up there, and see where the rest of the day takes me. So anyway, for now it's kind of late, so it's unfortunately past midnight, so I broke one of my stop doing list items, which is staying up past midnight. So I better get to bed as soon as I can, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.